Want to be featured on the Rock Metal Podcast just like all the other great bands you've heard up to this point? Go ahead and hit me up, the Rock Metal Podcast at gmail.com. Let me know. Let's work out the details. The Rock Metal Podcast, episode 39 with Ventenner.
It's breathing, violent machine, consume me, beautiful and free, just taste it, we know that's a lie, bleed freely, I refuse to die, I want this, it's a part of me, no ending, this is all I feel, I want to break you up inside,
All right then. So Rock Metal Nation, I've got on the line today Ventenner, a rock metal band from London, England, and I'm super stoked to have them on today. I'm joined by Charlie of Ventenner to talk about the latest happenings and what's going on, and to introduce a couple of two songs for you guys. So Charlie, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Hello.
Well, hello. Charlie, why don't you go and tell Rock Metal Nation a bit about yourself? Maybe what inspired you to get into music?
Oh man, wow, that's you're going straight in with the heavy questions.
Straight in with the heavy questions.
I guess growing up, like I was actually more into the electronic scene. I was into DJing and stuff when I was younger, and but I was kind of getting into writing, and it was the 90s. It was a really cool time for rock music, like bands like sort of Marilyn Manson and Placebo and all these cool 90s bands, and it kind of all just ended up at this focal point, like my musical side, and I was writing and I was getting into the music scene, and it just all just kind of arrived at I was about 25, 26, and I was working in a bar, and I remember polishing a glass, and I remember thinking, I need to start a band, and that was it. That was just it. I was like, screw it. So I bought a secondhand guitar, and I bought some software and learned how to sing, and that was it. I just went for it.
Wow. I think that there's so much in that story that's just empowering for people who might be listening to the show and be like, oh, man, I hate my job. Like, well, did you ever think that maybe you should buy a secondhand guitar and learn how to sing and buy some software and you could be on the Rock Metal Podcast tomorrow?
This is true. I mean, I'm living the dream right now, being on this Rock Metal Podcast. I mean, I never saw it coming a few years ago.
I know. I never saw it coming either, and then boom, we're in this moment together. We're talking about getting deep on a Friday morning. Although, as you're listening to this Rock Metal Nation, it's definitely a Wednesday. But no, I dig that. And then, the other cool aspect too, I think, in the 90s was that it was no longer a matter of, well, rap is over here and metal is over there. We mixed those. We decided it didn't work, so we moved on from there. And then the other cool thing was mixing electronic and metal. And so, like, you had the Depeche Mode over there, and you had, Iron Maiden over there, and they didn't touch each other. But now, all of a sudden, we've got bands like Marilyn Manson that you mentioned, for example, who mixed in electronic stuff, and whoa, it actually sounds really cool, and it gave birth to, I can think of just tons of bands from Soilwork to In Flames, just including a lot of electronic stuff in the music without necessarily going full bore industrial, as we were discussing in the pre-roll.
Yeah, I mean, it was the electronic thing. Still now, it's a bit of a dirty word in like metal purist circles. Like they won't go near a laptop. Like it's all about just 5 guitars and crazy double kick. But that whole scene was just really interesting for me because the classic rock sound never really. I mean, I appreciate it. Like anyone that's into music, like they appreciate where the roots come from. But it never really kind of hit me hard. And then I think it was going back to Marilyn Manson. It was the first time I heard Antichrist Superstar, and it just blew my mind. I was like, there's so many intricate layers and melodies and weird sounds, and it's so creepy and so insane, and it spoke to me on such a bizarre, profound level that I was like, I need to be doing something to do with this somewhere. But back then, all I sort of aspired to was being a kind of, I don't know, hanger on, like maybe get to talk to someone in a band at some point. I never thought I'd actually get a chance to do it. So it's pretty cool. Like,
I know.
It's worked out well.
Now you can talk to yourself because you're in a band.
I do talk to myself a lot, actually. I find the conversation flows really well.
Well, it's good. Yeah. What's the story behind how you guys found each other to form the current lineup?
I actually started Ventenner as a solo project. So after that previous anecdote of me deciding to start a band, I just started making music, and that was how it stayed for like a good 2-3 years. Just sort of noodling away on ideas and putting stuff together, and then Luke, the drummer, I'd been in another band with him previously in our hometown, and he wanted to move to London, and So when he moved to London, he moved into my place, and I was like, oh, well, you could do a bit of live guitar maybe when I'm playing stuff and singing stuff, and it just kind of grew from there. And then the turning point was this band called Static Plan, and I went to see them once, and I thought they were really cool, and I wanted to get them signed to the label we were on. So I rang up the guitarist, Jono, one night, and I was like, oh, hey, man, I think I've got you guys a record deal with our label. And he was like, oh, that's great, but I'd just been fired from the band. So I was like, perfect. I was like, so you're looking for a band? So yeah, literally like a week later, he came over. We listened to some demos that I'd put together. We had a few drinks, and that was that. And it just built up bit by bit. Like, Ben, the bass player, was in Static Plan as well, so he moved over to us as well. And it was just sort of grown from there, really. And then
just poaching him. Just poaching him.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah.
Very masculine of you. I dig that. I also envision, for some reason, I don't know why, maybe it's because I just watched an entire episode of people eating Southeast Asian cuisine, but just a bowl of pho involved in there somewhere. I don't know why, but just, I don't know, kind of a weird tangent.
It's always an option.
Always. And then he came over, we had a bowl of pho, and we said, you know what, let's do this. And then that was it. It's just like, it's almost like the story of Jesus. And then we're going to go recruit people. Great. And then they just changed their entire life course after that.
Exactly. Have you ever been to Fiji?
No, I have not.
Because in Fiji they have this bowl of what's called kava. Mm-hmm. It's like a big wooden bowl, and you go in, and every time you go in someone's house, it's like the equivalent of like making them a coffee. But it's like this weird root that's ground up into water, and you get like a little coconut shell, and you take a sip, and then you pass the coconut shell around, and then after like a couple of cups, like you can't feel your lips, and you start like going a bit weird. Not that it's that similar to Vietnamese cuisine, but
Yeah, I don't know. I think if that happened to me while I was eating pho, I'd wonder what was in it. But either way, that's good. Then you start drifting balls, thinking about what you want to do with your life, and then you're on the Rock Metal Podcast. So I think that all of your life decisions have really accumulated into this moment right now. I think you're doing good.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. All right. What inspired the name of the band?
I was working a really shitty office job. It was just after I decided to start the band, and I was kind of working in this office, and it sucked. And I remember where I grew up in this small town called Ipswich, and it's useless. Like it was where dreams go to die. There's nothing there. And
You're so English.
And I remember for some reason, I don't know how, but someone had managed to book the Chili Peppers at our football stadium. And I was sitting there, and the window was open. It was a sunny afternoon, and I could hear the Chili Peppers warming up across the road. And I was like, oh, man, this sucks. Like, I want to be there, not doing this. Like, I want to be doing cool stuff. And I was just scribbling things down, and I remember the word vent popped into my head about how I was trying to get everything out. And I just wrote down the word vent. And I just sort of looked at it, and then I don't know how the other letters came after it. It just came after it. I looked at it, and I was like, that looks pretty cool on paper. I'm pretty sure no one else has ever said that or written it. It's kind of got I've got dibs on Google, if I go with it. And in retrospect, I probably should have picked a better name, because anytime anyone asked me what my band's called, I had to say it at least twice. I'm stuck with it now.
Well, you're at that point, though, where I get to say your name for you. So.
Yeah.
Right? So yeah. And the place where dreams die, there's a lot of fertile ground because of all that death. So you gave birth to something out of all that fertility. Yes,
very true, very true.
Yeah, I like it.
In fact, one of our most popular songs is a song called "Attack," and it's about another really weird thing that happened in Ipswich. There was a serial killer there for a while, a very well known serial killer as well, and it was a weird time to be in Ipswich. It was really creepy and really dark, and it was me kind of processing that whole event that was running for 2-3 weeks. And again, something grim inspired something better.
Yeah, there we go. I'll have to look that up later. The Ipswich Killer. Is that what he was called? The Ipswich Killer? Or she?
Well, the county was called Suffolk, so people used to call him the Suffocator, which I thought was quite a witty name. Yeah. He was Stephen Wright, his name was. But it was a crazy time. I think he has the record for the most bodies found in the shortest period of time or something. It was crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. All right then. Lightening up the mood a bit. When you guys get together to write songs, what's that process like?
It used to be really rigid. In that me and Jono or me and Ben would just come up with a demo and we'd just have an idea and then kind of hammer it out. But now it's been a lot more fluid. Like this time around, we were in the studio for like 4 or 5 months before we even went to record, just like going through it all, getting rid of all the kinks, like streamlining them all. It was a much more collaborative process this time around, which is cool because like the first album was just me. I did everything. Like, so it was, I felt like a level of achievement, but at the same time, it's quite insular and you've got no other, you need like someone else to bounce off ideas and a sounding board and someone to go, actually, that's not very good, or okay, let's do this. And so now it's a lot more collaborative, but we all have our, like most bands, I guess, we all have our own sort of specific influences that come from certain places. So you kind of ended up having people in the band maybe trying to sort of steer a song in a certain direction, but then someone else is fighting another way, and then it weirdly creates something even better. So it's been a lot more fluid, and I really don't want to use the word organic, but like it's been a little bit more like that this time. It feels a little more natural. And we've been playing live a lot together for the last couple of years, so I think that's why this album came out a lot heavier than the last one.
Speaking of heavier because of the last one, let's go and listen to the first track, Enemy.
The pieces running all the time, no stopping, automatic mind, it's breathing, violent machine, consume me, beautiful and free. Just taste it, we know that's a lie, bleed freely.
right, coming back from the track Enemy, two big questions for you. Really, it's just one big question. What is the inspiration behind that track, or the story behind that track?
That song was to do with Descartes' philosophy on the evil demon concept, in the sense that there is this part of your psyche that is constantly steering you in bad direction, and it's making you believe that you're doing it for your own good. It's a very complicated kind of piece of philosophy, and it took me a while to get my head around it exactly. But it made perfect sense why, if people are on a self-destructive route, or they're kind of making a lot of bad decisions, you've got this part of your brain that's going, yep, this is the best thing you need to do, and it's secretly sabotaging you all the time. Which is why the working title for this album originally was going to be Smoke and Mirrors. It was kind of this idea of illusion and distraction, that kind of idea, while something else is going on. So that was the inspiration for that song. That was where it came from.
Yeah. No, really good topic. For some reason, smoking came to mind, because I can't think of anybody that I know who smokes that doesn't know that it's bad for them. Like, everybody that I know who smokes knows that it's bad for them, but they do it anyway.
True. And
they tell themselves all kinds of things, like, I like it. Like, no, you don't. You're just telling yourself that to keep yourself doing it. The real reason that you're doing it is ... Or anything in place of it, like overeating, for example, or any of the more basic problems that are actually really easy to overdo, like smoking, overeating, or undereating, that kind of thing. But yeah, no, really...
See, and now we're back to the 7 deadly sins again, see?
I know.
It's all a rich tapestry.
It is. Speaking of which, let's go ahead and listen to the next song, Saligia.
Parts and pieces breathe.
right, coming back from Saligia, which we preemptively discussed in the song Enemy. But similar question, what was the inspirational story behind the 7 Deadly Sins of Saligia?
I think, obviously you write from personal experience. I tend to not make songs too about me because I feel like if I'm talking about it from a very specific personal point of view, I think other people will find it hard to identify with that. And I like the idea that people can listen to a song and go, oh, okay, yeah, this feels like me. I identify with that. But this song was more to do with going back to the destructive urges. And I felt like for me, coming up to this record and recording it and finishing it, I just kind of finished like a long run of destructive behavior. And I feel that now I've kind of come out the other side of it. And so that song was, very much to do with that, very much to do with unabashed hedonism. And it's almost a mechanical, reflex. It's almost something that I can't control, which is, some of the lyrics in there.
Yeah. No, it reminds me of this time I did some really super deep meditation. And I got into like a different frame of consciousness. It's a zone right in between sleep and like different levels of sleep. I can't remember which 2 levels of sleep they are, but like I was awake, but at the same time I could notice all of the unconscious mannerisms and behaviors I was doing. It's like I was driving and I was watching myself drive, which probably wasn't the best way to drive. But I was like, holy shit, like my foot just moved and I didn't have to think about it. And my arm is moving right now and I have to think about it. And then I went home and I started making a sandwich, speaking of overeating. And I woke up in the middle of making this sandwich, and I was like, I'm not hungry. Why am I making this sandwich? Like, there's so much that we do on automaton mode.
Yeah.
That is just ridiculous. And then, obviously, after that wore off, I just didn't go back into noticing it. But I made enough notes where I could go back and look at it and be like, oh, wow, holy shit, yeah, that did happen. I can bring myself back to that moment that, like, there's a lot of stuff that we're doing on autopilot, and if we examine it, we can see what we're automatically bringing into our lives. Is it what we want? Is it not what we want? And try and engineer our own automatic habits from there.
Totally agree.
Yeah. What exciting news do you guys have coming up for Rock Metal Nation to pay attention to?
Well, the album's out now, so it came out about a week ago. So it's cool. It's doing the rounds. People are liking it. People are reviewing it. It's been well received. So now we are going to be spending the next, pretty much all 2017, pushing the album. We're going to be doing some tours, doing some shows. We've got a few shows booked in already in London. We're hoping to. We'd love to get over the Atlantic at some point soon. That's something I'd really like to do. So that's something we're gonna try and work on this year. And we've got a few things in the pipeline. We've got a collaboration single with another band. That's going to be coming up later this year. And we're going to be doing a live session as well. Going to be recording a live session. And I think that's about it at the moment. I think that's about it. We've got a lot of stuff coming up. Just little bits and pieces for now, like new vinyl reissues of old albums and new merch and stuff. But it's going to be a busy year for us. We're going to be constantly trickling stuff out all year. So any sort of Ventenner fans are not going to get bored at any point this year.
All right. Sounds good. And all the new fans who personally discovered you today on the Rock Metal Podcast. So, guys, on Rock Metal Nation, we're going to be pushing the album this year. So the 2 tracks that you heard today, next question I've got for Charlie is where you can find out more about that. But there's going to be some tours, some shows in London, some collaboration single with other bands. That's some cool stuff. I'm excited about that. Recording a live session and obviously some new merch and some new vinyl additions to the collection. So if you're a long-standing fan of Ventenner or a new fan of Ventenner, either way, you are not going to be bored in 2017, which brings me to my next logical question. How can Rock Metal Nation find out more about you? Is there a website that they should go to?
There is. If you hit up Ventenner.com, that's got links to everything you could possibly desire. And it's got links to all our other stuff like SoundCloud, YouTube, Facebook. We're constantly on social media, interacting with people, badgering people for stuff, chatting, saying hi, whatever. We're pretty active. So if you go online and say hey, we'll say hey back, or send you a t-shirt or some shit like that.
Hey.
Yeah.
What are you up to?
But yeah, Ventenner.com's got all the stuff. So if you want to go and like check out stuff, that's the place to be.
That is the place to be. Rock Metal Nation, go to Ventenner.com. That's where you can get links to everything you possibly desire, speaking of Saligia. And that includes SoundCloud, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. Go ahead and give them a hey. They'll give you a hey back. And just keep in touch. Charlie's a cool dude. Ventenner's a cool band. So therefore, you should do it. I think that makes sense.
I agree.
Yeah. Boom. Well, Charlie, if there's anything else you want to throw out there, I just wanted to thank you for taking some time out of your day to come on to the Rock Metal Podcast and share Ventenner's music with Rock Metal Nation.
Thank you very much, man. And thank you for being up at 6 a.m. to talk to me. You look surprisingly fresh for somebody who's up at 6 in the morning. So, I can only imagine at 9 a.m., you just look divine. Those eyes pop. You look amazing.
Well, thank you, sir. Little tidbit this morning. Maybe it helped. Maybe it didn't. I try not to look at my phone. It's just a general rule. But
you try to generally not look at your phone.
Yeah, because I'm like, I know I'm going to read emails. It's probably going to be related to work, and I'm like, ugh. But anyway, so I did. I don't know why, but I did. And then one of my friends in Australia on Facebook posted this thing about like, hey, think positive today. Of all the things that we could post on social media, I'm going to post about how grateful I am about stuff. What are you grateful for? So I was like, I'm going to start a gratitude chain. So I posted what I was grateful for, and so I think that's probably one of the most powerful things you can do early in the morning or whenever you wake up is like just, hey, what's something I'm grateful for? Just, I don't know. I feel really good. And then you're handsome, so it works out. It just works out.
Exactly. Something great's going to happen today. It's going to all work out. Everything's going to come up Millhouse for you.
Rock Metal Nation, hopefully you just found your new favorite band in Ventenner. Big thanks again for them for coming on and sharing their music with us. Make sure to head over to www.therockmetalpodcast.ca to check out all the information from the show you just heard today. And until then, rock on, Rock Metal Nation.